am a very strong mover, Moira Healy. I am not a dancer by any means.
And I am Amanda, my friends call me Manda, and I am the person who gets asked to become a dance major all the time. I'm not, I'm a musical theater major.
And welcome back to episode 4 of It Takes Two. Today's episode is called Finishing the Hat, because today is sadly our last episode of the podcast.
Our farewell episode.
Yeah, unless somehow this gets revived.
I need advance notice if we're gonna do that again.
Yeah, so again, welcome back, and let's start off with our theses again for the last time.
Woo!
So I will go first. My thesis is about the variety of shows that Stephen Sondheim has done. We've covered his Golden Age musical, his concept musical. What was last week? Why did I forget?
His flop.
Oh, his flop musical.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so forgetful.
Oh.
And today, we are wrapping it up with an off-Broadway musical that he had, thus basically proving that he has had a wider range of different types of shows than any other composer has ever had. And how about your thesis?
My thesis talking about movie musicals, saying that movie musicals have brought Broadway and musical theater in general to way more people than live shows ever could.
All right, so today with Act 1, we are, again, starting with a Sondheim musical. We have a lot of info on this today. So much. So basically, first, we are going to talk about off-Broadway. What is off-Broadway, you may ask, if some of you don't know?
What is off-Broadway?
So,
Moira,
yeah,
tell me.
let's
Moira.
discuss. I will right now. So let's start with what Broadway is. So a Broadway house typically must have 500 seats or more. What some people may not know is that it is not a requirement that a theater reside on Broadway for it to be considered a Broadway house. In fact, only a handful of Broadway's theaters actually reside on the famous thoroughfare. Those are the Marquis, the Winter Garden, and the Broadway. It is, however, generally expected that a theater must reside within a certain radius of Broadway for it to be considered a Broadway venue. Okay, so what is an off-Broadway theater? Professional productions that reside in theaters within New York City whose contracts define them as off-Broadway productions and that have theaters with a range of 99 to 499 seats can be considered off-Broadway. Obviously, there are, once again, exceptions, but these are the benchmarks by which you can usually define off-Broadway. One other point that differentiates a Broadway show from an off-Broadway show is how they are treated during awards season. Only Broadway shows can be nominated for Tony Awards unless a special award is being handed out that requires an exception. Broadway and off-Broadway shows can be nominated for Drama Desk Awards. Meanwhile, the Obie Awards celebrate the best and only off-Broadway plays and musicals. Often, if a show is successful off-Broadway, it may eventually take the leap to the Broadway stage. The Band's Visit is an example, but many shows have started off-Broadway and then transferred, including Hamilton, Avenue Q, Rent, A Chorus Line, Urinetown, and the Scottsboro Boys, and this musical, which we are talking about today, of Stephen Sondheim, which is my second favorite Sondheim musical, one of my favorite musicals of all time, Assassins.
Woo.
So what is Assassins about?
What is it about, Moira?
So, I wonder what it could be about. A comedic, non-linear fantasia about 9 people who tried to kill U.S. presidents, 4 of them successfully. Assassins imagines a reality in which these villains of history not only cross paths, but even push one another to commit their unspeakable deeds, which are depicted with varying degrees of artistic license. Featuring music and lyrics by the legendary composer Stephen Sondheim.
Who else?
Who else? And a book by John Weidman. The subversive show premiered off-Broadway in 1990, then won 5 Tonys for its 2004 Broadway revival. There are 9 roles including Booth, Charles Guiteau, convicted of assassinating President James A. Garfield, Leon Showalter, who assassinated President McKinley, and Lee Harvey Oswald, who assassinated John F. Kennedy, and those are just the assassins who were able to pull it off. All 9 bend time and space to meet at a carnival-style shooting gallery where they trade stories and motivations and work together to convince Lee Harvey Oswald that he should carry his plan through.
Irony. Shooting
Talk
gallery.
about peer pressure. The idea for Assassins first planted itself in Stephen Sondheim's mind when he was serving on a panel at Stuart Ostro's Musical Theater Lab and read a play by a young playwright named Charles Gilbert. Charles Gilbert had submitted a script about a fictional presidential assassin, and although Sondheim found the play itself problematic, he was fascinated by the peripheral material Gilbert had compiled.
Peripheral material. It's
Yes.
a fun word
It
to
is
say.
peripheral.
Okay. Sorry for interrupting.
It's okay. Letters and anecdotes from actual assassins, which Gilbert had compiled. That was what the
Oh.
play was. Several years later, after obtaining permission from Gilbert, Sondheim decided to tackle the project along with John Weidman, lyricist whom he had previously collaborated with on his musical Pacific Overtures. Originally, Sondheim and Weidman intended to explore the lives of assassins throughout history, beginning with Brutus and Julius Caesar, but they soon realized this was far too broad a topic and decided to limit themselves to assassins who had attempted to kill the President of the United States. As the Clear project developed, their task soon became clear to dramatize the unpopular thesis that most notorious killers in our culture are as much a product of that culture as the famous leaders they attempt to murder. Again, the musical opens a crowd gathering at a carnival shooting gallery which features a revolving wheel on which various presidents are depicted. Attempting to entice customers toward his stand, the proprietor of this little shooting gallery shouts out loudly, "Come here and kill a president." From this nightmarish beginning, the play goes on to examine the lives of various men and women. I lost all those.
Oh, various men and women.
Various men and women who have committed or attempted to commit the ultimate crime. Sondheim and Weidman show little regard for this historical accuracy, freely mixing characters from different periods in a kaleidoscopic, that's a big word.
That's such a good word, though.
It is.
Wow.
A kaleidoscopic hallucinatory review.
Sorry. Kaleidoscopic hallucinatory review.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
Really.
Oh no.
From Samuel Bick, who hijacked a plane and tried to kill Nixon by crashing into the White House, to Charles Manson, groupie Squeaky Fromm, to the infamous John Wilkes Booth. I just need to say something. I am convinced I am related to Charles Manson because my mother's maiden name is Manson, so that's a fun thing. It's for me to think for myself.
Wow. Things to think about when you're trying to fall asleep.
Am I trying to be the next cult follower? Not necessarily. We'll see. Each presidential assassin is made to confront the fact that his or her act of meaningless violence failed to bring about the desired results for these lost souls. Sondheim composes another national anthem, the nightmarish underside of the American dream. The musical comes into sharp focus as we are transported to the Texas School Book Depository, November 22nd, 1963, where Lee Harvey Oswald, lonely and distraught, prepares to take his own life. That is, until Booth and the other assassins arrive and attempt to transform him into their avenging angel.
Oh.
Oh boy. Oswald,
Unfinished business, huh?
they believe Oswald is their savior here. He can justify their actions and secure them all a place in history. Kennedy's assassination will be a watershed, oh my goodness, a watershed event, a crucial test against which all other acts of political violence will be measured. They feel this final act, if successful, will somehow legitimize their senseless lives. As the play builds to a climax, the assassins chant, and there was a whole long thing that I'm not going to read. It was too long. So basically, this musical is trying to humanize these assassins,
Oh.
which I think is kind of like an interesting approach.
For sure.
Okay, Assassins premiered off-Broadway at Playwrights Horizons on December 18th, 1990, with a cast that included Victor Garber, Terrence Mann, Jonathan Hattery, Lee Wilkoff, Annie Golden, Deborah Monk, Patrick Cassidy, Greg Gurman, and Jace Alexander. They played to a sold-out run of 73 performances, but in spite of Sondheim's reputation...
73.
Yeah, only 73.
Oh
But in spite of Sondheim's reputation, the musical did not transfer to a larger house. The United States was on the verge of the Persian Gulf War, and the country was in a state of patriotic fervor. Audiences were not ready for the message Sondheim and Weidman were delivering. In fact, it was not until the passions of war cooled and the soundtrack was released on compact disc that Assassins truly began to receive the critical acclaim that it deserves. In the framework of a showbiz review, Assassin gives voice to the 9 characters' hopes, fears, and furies by exposing twisted thoughts that make them such intriguing figures. Crossing barriers of time and space, the assassins conversate with each other, explaining their actions with pride, pain, and dark humor. They become a chorus united by their deeds and their tormented motivations. As the audience is pulled in and kept off balance by the constantly changing pace and tone of the show, they see evil connect with evil. As the pieces of the puzzle fall into place, the individual assassins awaken to their collective identity and come to personify an underside of the American dream where anybody can grow up to kill a president. You know, like Susan Sondheim actually said, like, if another president got assassinated, he wouldn't redo the show. He would just keep it as it is. Which I guess that keeps, like, the original integrity of the show.
You're right.
Because there's, like, a whole lot of rewriting you'd have to do.
I'm going to add another one.
Yeah. Assassins suggest that our leaders are the victims of frequent assassination attempts, largely because American mythology promises everyone a right to their dreams. If these dreams are not attained, someone must be responsible. The 9 assassins share a desperate need to reconcile their belief in this myth with their sense of personal hopelessness. American assassins have tended to act as solitary figures. Often, rather than killing to advance or sustain a political cause, they have sought notoriety. However, temporary for themselves, deluding themselves with fantasies that their one great deed will maintain or restore the perfect nation they believe they have righted fundamental wrong by behaving in accordance with American ideals. In Assassins, the 9 central characters sing another national anthem because they are denied entrance to the playing fields where the real anthem is sung. Each character in Assassins was thrust into our awareness by committing a terrible act. While we might normally perceive them as freaks with no message for us, the time we spend with them in the show reveals them to be multi-dimensional people with problems who have more in common with the rest of us than we might like to acknowledge. Yeah, and these sources come from BroadwayDirect.com, Masulian.com, one I can't pronounce, and Imagination.com. So, man, that was a lot of talking, a lot of information. We're going to take a brief intermission, then be back with Act 2. I need to place this tea bag in something.
Use that.
There we go.
Oh, you spilled.
It's okay, it's just on my leg. It's just on my leg. It's okay.
Well, there's a little bit on the desk,
Oh,
too.
no. It's still very warm.
I was like, it doesn't cool down at all. So snaz.
Oh, it's like some water.
This is your cue to go to the restroom.
Yeah.
Pee fast. Or pause.
Do what you want, do what you like.
Yep. Just
Oh, goodness.
do it safely. Alright. Welcome back. I hope you had a lovely intermission, and if you needed to pee, I hope you paused it. Alright, welcome to my section where we talk about movie musicals with Amanda. So, my thesis, which I stated at the beginning, but in case you've forgotten, it's talking about how movie musicals have brought Broadway to the general public more expansively than any Broadway live show could have. And we're just going to talk about a little thing called Singin' in the Rain.
I freaking love that
Today.
movie. It's one of my favorite movies.
Singin' in the Rain, was made for TV and has been edited so it can be produced on stage. And
I've seen it on stage at the Muni with Corbin Blue.
Nice.
Corbin Blue is amazing. He is one of the nicest people I've met. I've seen him twice. I saw him in Singing in the Rain at the Muni, and I saw him in Kiss Me Kate on Broadway.
nice. Singin' in the Rain, I just looked it up, was on Broadway in 1985. And ran and had 367 performances, which is
it?
not a whole lot. Let's be honest, the cast and the dancing was the most iconic.
That's true.
Yeah. So previously on this podcast, we talked about Into the Woods, the movie, and the Cinderella broadcast, and the Hamilton film of the show. You good, Myra?
Yeah, it just, I thought it would be cooled down, and it kind of jolted me. It was,
Dang.
burns my lips.
That's all right. A little bit of background from real reviews, as in, like, movie reel. Anyways, so it starred Gene Kelly, the incomparable Gene Kelly.
I love him so much.
Gene Hagen, with a J, and Debbie Reynolds when she was 19.
That's
when it came out. She was 18 when they were filming.
That's not fair. I wasn't doing that at 19. I'm only 20.
The script was by Betty Comden and Adolph Green, well-known writers. And the music was by Arthur Freed and Nacio Herb Brown. And I apologize for butchering that name.
It's probably Italian.
It does look Italian. We'll never know.
Must be Italian.
That's not true. But, so, fun fact, 11 out of 14 of the songs in this movie were not original to the movie. So, Arthur Freed and Nacio Herb Brown had done, at least Arthur Freed had done previous movies in, like, the 1930s. Mm-hmm. And so they took 11 songs from his wide range of movies and put them in this.
Wait, so it's just
the new songs are Moses Supposes and
song.
Make 'Em Laugh.
Another good song.
Except Make 'Em Laugh was kind of a ripoff of Cole Porter's Be a Clown in The Pirate. It's very good.
Make 'Em Laugh's better.
It is good, but Be a Clown has I think Judy Garland and Gene Kelly in that song. I looked it up and watched the video, and it's very similar. It's like you listen to it and you're like, oh, they took the melody, they took the idea.
Just copy and paste.
Copy paste. Thanks, Cole Porter. Let me steal your ideas.
Plagiarism, almost.
I know. But this source talking about Sing in the Rain said kind of the dancing is kind of more important and iconic than the singing. Like, if you think of Singing in the Rain, you don't think of Gene Kelly going, "You are my lucky star." You think of him, leaning with the...
on the light post.
On the light post with his hat like this. You can't see me, but I'm doing it.
You know what we're talking about.
You can see the image. That's is iconic.
Can you imagine tap dancing like on a studio stage, like, and it's frickin' raining? And it's like not normal rain, it's movie rain where it's like they're pouring buckets upon buckets of water on you. That's insane.
Well, you have a fever?
That's right, he had a fever.
He did. I don't have a source for that, but it's kind of common knowledge at this point. So, let's talk about critical reception to this film. Filmsite.org said, surprisingly, this great film was basically ignored by film critics when released and treated with indifference. Which, I mean, I could only find 2 reviews of Singing in the Rain, like, at the time when it came out, from The Hollywood Reporter and Variety, and they both had really high praise for the movie.
As it
and
should.
So, I wish they'd have told me the indifferent critic reviews, because I couldn't find any. So I don't really get that one. But they did say it received only 2 Academy Award nominations, Best Supporting Actress and Best Musical Score, and didn't win either. Which is so funny. I don't remember what won the Academies, but it's something that's like...
That's
rude. Like, probably another movie musical that was like, American in Paris or something that no one's ever heard of.
I've heard it.
Yes, well, you are an exception.
I've seen the movie.
I don't really know. It didn't win many awards. Actually didn't win any Academy Awards. And I found 2 reviews, so I'm not going to try to back up the people were indifferent to it. But today, I challenge you to Google top movie musicals of all time and, like, find lists and see how many you can find with Singin' in the Rain in them. I have 3 right here. American Film Institute has a top 25 greatest movie musicals of all time list that is updated and, you know, very deeply debated and discussed. And Singin' in the Rain is number 1.
I'm on one right now that's like 43 of the best musicals to sing along to. The Muppets is one of them. The Muppets is 2 of them.
Oh no. But, it's pretty much always on the list. In Good Housekeeping's 35 best musical movies of all time, from timeless classics to new favorites, Singin' in the Rain is included.
Found it on this one, 23.
And, in Independent, magazine, newspaper,
Yes.
correct me, it's number 3 in their 20 greatest movie musicals of all time. So, kind of in conclusion, chances are...
It's on this one too. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. If you haven't heard of Singin' in the Rain...
Where have you been? It's on this one too!
I mean, I get
Number
it if
3.
you haven't seen it, but, like, if you've never heard of it, then you probably haven't lived in America for very long. But anyway, chances are, you're more likely to have seen the movie, or heard the song, or heard of the song, than have seen
Number
the
4.
Broadway production, or a Broadway production. Because it's somewhat of a cultural phenomenon at this point. So, that's pretty much all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed. What is our sponsor for today,
Our
Moira?
sponsor today is Mushnick's Flower Shop. I hear they have the most amazing plant there. It's pretty cool. Nothing weird about that. It's a normal plant. Go in and get your own Audrey too, and tell them Moira and Amanda sent you. And we have officially finished the hat, as George Surratt would say in Sunday in the Park. It has been a awesome time doing this podcast.
Thanks
For you, Phil.
Thanks for dealing with us.
And to anyone else who may watch us in the future, thank you for tuning in as well. Will we be back this one day? Who knows? There's certainly a lot more information about Sondheim and movie musicals out there. You never know.
There is. All right, thank you for joining us. This is our goodbye.
This is our curtain call.
Farewell.
So take a bow. Take a bow. You two take a bow as well for being here.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
We love you.